All right, ladies and gentlemen, the time you've all been waiting for. Clap like you think I'm awesome. Thank you. Welcome, everybody. We have an amazing program for you to hear today, and we're so grateful that you came. My name is Matt. Say hi, Matt. Hi, Matt. My main job is to thank a whole bunch of people. So I have a little list to make sure I don't forget. And we're going to practice something. I want you to practice the really quick round of applause. That was great. We're going to do it again. I'm going to count to 3, and then you're going to practice the really quick round of applause. All right? Yes, sir. 1, 2, 3, go! And stop. Not bad. All right, I have a bunch of people to thank, and I want you to be able to applaud for each of them, but not for very long. All right, we have an amazing group of elected officials here with us tonight. Tonight? Whoa. It feels like tonight. I would like everybody who is or represents an elected official to stand, and we're going to give them a really quick round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's great to have you here. We're going to thank the people who provided financial support so that this could happen. This includes people like my lovely Kaiser friends over here, and my lovely Center for Elders Independence friends over here, and MCE that doesn't have a table, but you can thank them anyway. Wow. All right, and then I have other people to thank. Actually, so there are about 18,000 lower income seniors in our county. Did you know that? And I want to thank them because we're here to support them and all the rest of the seniors. But I want them on our minds, and so I just wanted to bring them up as well. There is a committee that put this event on, and I'd like to thank them. They did amazing work. I want them to stand. I'm going to call out their names. We have Glenda Paha. We have Debbie Toth. We have Susanna Meyer. We have Jill Kleiner. Where did you go, Jill? There you are. And Chalo, who's in Wyoming, who couldn't be here. All right, I think I'm done. Thank you very much. I am turning the time now over to Debbie.
Thank you. I would like to note we have sign interpretation today. We are setting the bar for we should be accessible in all things that we do for all human beings. So that's why we have sign here. Oh, and I see our county supervisor, Ken Carlson, joined us. Happy to see you, sir. Hi. So my big job today is to introduce you to one of my favorite directors in the entire universe. And I will tell you why. It's not just because I'm trying to kiss some you-know-what because we want to make sure that we continue to get funding for all of our programs. But back in the day, I was on the Alzheimer's Disease and Related Disorders Advisory Committee, which is a statewide body. And I met this incredible woman who worked for the Alzheimer's Association in state policy. And we could all, as committee members, sit around this table, and I was sitting with some of the smartest people in the world on Alzheimer's disease. And this woman could break down policy, program, legislation, and what lived experience looked like for everybody in the room like nobody else could. And she became a very dear friend and mentor. And then all of a sudden she was the director of the Department of Aging. And I was like, how cool is that? So from nonprofit and service to a world of living with a parent with Alzheimer's disease to now leading a functioning state body, we have to understand in context, we are in budget crisis right now. But even in times of crisis, to have the right leader at the helm to help figure out where those cuts have to happen and where they're going to cause the least damage is so very important to our population. And I promise you we couldn't be in better hands than with Susan DeMorris, the director of the California Department of Aging. Come on up.
Thank you. Thank you, Debbie. That was a very kind introduction. And hello, everyone. I see many familiar faces and many familiar logos around the room. This is the best example of Governor Newsom's master plan for aging, which is, we say, no? I do, yes. Okay, great. It is a whole of government approach. So, are you all hearing me okay? I'll just talk. Oh, something shifted. Okay. With the governor's master plan for aging, which so many of you have been involved with since before it even launched, we call it a whole of government effort. So I see here city, county, state, federal. So it's working. This is a whole of government approach. We also call it a public-private partnership because government alone cannot serve and support older adults, people with disabilities, and family caregivers. So to all of our private sector partners in the room, thank you for everything that you do. And Debbie, thank you for inviting me today. It's also my 60th birthday this year. I was just wanted to be here today. I was born the same year as Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, and Medicare, Medicaid, and the Older Americans Act. And I want to just thank you for celebrating. We need to look for things to celebrate, and one of the things to celebrate is definitely 6 decades of the nation's Older Americans Act. So we've got some, and all of the providers, many of them are invisible when you ask. We had a reporter here earlier. You can't point to one place or one program that defines the Older Americans Act. It's a whole array of providers, starting with our area agency on aging for Contra Costa County, and then many, many partners, contracted partners that make all of the programs come to life. So I have a few slides for you, and we'll start with the first one. So, people have already asked me what my read on the federal landscape is today. Things are changing as we speak. There was just a big piece of legislation that passed that's very consequential. But for today, the Older Americans Act, which has been with us since July 14th, 1965. So I want to just remind everybody, we've seen many presidential administrations, many senates, many Congresses go through in the last 60 years, and we still have the Older Americans Act. It is funded at the same level that it was funded last year. There have not been any cuts to the Older Americans Act as yet. And it's up for reauthorization. So I know you have 2 outstanding members of Congress, and their staff are here in the room that support the Older Americans Act and will help us to reauthorize it. So this is an enduring legacy that we want to see continue. We did just a quick, just to give you a sense, a big reason why Governor Newsom launched the Master Plan for Aging in 2021 is because of the changing demographics in our state and nation. So just to give you context, when the Older Americans Act was introduced in 1965, California had 18 million people living in our state, statewide. Today, we have 9 million people 60 and older. So half of the population at that time is now older. And I don't think in 1965 they imagined that the longevity that we would experience. California has one of the highest longevities in the nation. I think we're third or fourth. The fastest growing demographic in our state is 85 plus. We have so many centenarians in California, and we know that by 2030, 1 in 4 Californians will be 60 or older. 2030, just 5 years out. That's so. The Older Americans Act has changed and evolved over the years, not as much as we would have liked to keep step with those demographic changes, but we have seen some changes over time. What are Older Americans Act programs? So the federal government, through what was formerly the Administration for Community Living, provides funding to state units on aging. That's our department, the California Department of Aging. We receive about $250 million annually to provide funding to our area agencies on aging. 33 of them in our state. You're fortunate, and you have one serving Contra Costa County. Very focused and great leadership. And they provide a whole range of services. Senior nutrition is far and away, hello, Meals on Wheels, home-delivered meals, congregate meals in senior centers and community centers. Who in this room touches food and seniors? Who here? Okay. Thank you, every one of you. That is far and away the greatest funding source of the Older Americans Act is for senior nutrition. And when I had the opportunity to meet the new ACL administrator for the Administration for Community Living, who works for the current president, she said, in describing the AAAs, our area agencies on aging, she said, "We feed America." That is her tagline. So senior nutrition is a high, high, high priority for area agencies on aging in the Older Americans Act. Following close behind, information and assistance. This is somebody who launches a website so you can search for information. This is someone who answers the phone when you call. This is someone who emails you. This is somebody who goes to events like this and does outreach with the community. What I hear consistently in my role is people don't know what's available. They don't know where to go. They don't know where to start. They don't know who has credible, reliable information. So we view information and assistance as critical for the next 5 years as we move to 1 in 4 Californians being 60 or older. That is the foundation where everything begins, because if people don't know about the services and supports, and there's no point in having them. So we're really going to be investing a lot in the next few years in information and assistance. Caregiver supports. We know that family caregivers provide far and away, it's about 65% of all long-term care in our nation and in our state is provided by unpaid, informal family and friend caregivers and kin. So we provide a lot of resources through the Older Americans Act for caregiver education, caregiver support groups, caregiver training, health promotion. These are our evidence-based programs that are in disease prevention, falls prevention, heart disease, Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's, a lot around senior nutrition education. Legal services, thank you. Thank you to our sponsor and leader. Not surprisingly, this has been a huge growth area. Older adults, especially older adults with little or no resources, have lots of legal questions and they need information and resources. They can't afford to pay for attorneys or paralegals. So thank you to our legal service providers. That is also funded through the Older Americans Act. Long-term care ombudsman, also in the House, Susanna and Empowered Aging. The governor's master plan really emphasizes home and community living. We know older adults and their families want to remain at home as long as possible, and they want to stay in their community. And that's not always possible. California has over 8,000 licensed board and care homes, residential care facilities for the elderly, assisted living communities, skilled nursing facilities. And the long-term care ombudsman program, they provide the eyes and ears in those communities on behalf of the residents and their families. And so we thank you for your great work funded through the Older Americans Act, supplemented even more so by the state legislature. Thank you to our state legislatures. And just received an augmentation in the governor's budget signed just a week ago. So great advocacy. Health insurance counseling and advocacy. It's really important as somebody approaches age 65 or has a disability and becomes eligible for Medicare, to have unbiased health insurance counseling from somebody, and that's what the Health Insurance Counseling and Advocacy Program, HICAP, provides. So in every community in our state, somebody can go in and lay out their whole situation and ask for unbiased advice on what Medicare policies to sign up for and all the supplemental insurance, and somebody can help them in their community, preferably in their language of choice. So the HICAP program is a big one that we provide. Anybody here from HICAP? HICAP? Yay! There you go. Thank you. HICAP and the Ombudsman program also both rely heavily on volunteers, and so I want to thank everybody who volunteers their time to support older adults, people with disabilities, and family caregivers. Thank you so much. And that's just part of the Older Americans Act. We also have an Older Californians Act that, with State General Fund, that supplements the Older Americans Act. So there are a whole slew of programs. Christina Mills, who's here from the California Association for Area Agencies on Aging, runs a lot of those programs through our 33 AAAs in the state. So, part of the beauty in the architecture 60 years ago with the Older Americans Act is your eligibility is based on age, not on income. So it's one of the few programs. Who here has had to bounce somebody around by phone and say, oh, we can't help you. You're too this, you're too that, you're too young, you don't qualify, you're this, you're wrong zip code, da 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 da. Well, it's very simple in terms of the eligibility for the Older Americans Act. Based on age, income is not a barrier, so it's important to know that a lot of people don't seek services through our Area Agency on Aging because they don't think they would qualify. They might make too much money. They have savings, a pension. It's for all older Californians. Family caregivers are also eligible. I mentioned we have supportive services for family caregivers. Long-term care residents of all ages and abilities qualify. And I mentioned that income is not a barrier. So please help get the word out for our Area Agencies on Aging. Start there. They may not have what somebody needs, but it's a perfect starting place. And then part of why our Area Agencies on Aging are not well known is because they contract out a lot of their services, and Contra Costa County is a great example of that. So the programs and services of the Older American Act are actually delivered by other well-known, reputable, recognized community-based organizations, to name just a few here. Family Caregiver Alliance here in the corner, woo! Meals on Wheels, yeah! Empowered Aging. Who else here receives Choice in Aging? Who else receives Older Americans Act funding through the AAA? Legal Services, yeah. And what's the future outlook for Older Americans program? So I'm pleased today. When Debbie first asked me a couple months ago, I thought, ooh, it's going to be hard. You know, if we see cuts to the Older Americans Act. It's been a bumpy ride the last few months. The Federal Administration for Community Living has been cut back in half. We did lose our regional director out of San Francisco, so there's no longer a regional office. and they've lost their independence and autonomy and been co-located with another federal agency. But they've been very responsive to us, and we've even received 2 federal grants in the last several months. California received a disaster grant for Los Angeles County, and we just received a caregiver grant. So they are skeleton staff, but they're very responsive. We're working with our state legislature to really strengthen the aging network through Senate Bill 1249, a piece of legislation that passed last year and was signed by the governor to really focus on performance measures and outcomes so that our AAA network is at optimal performance, because we recognize the number. Is that my time? Does that mean my time's up? Oh. To really take things to scale for the future because of the huge volume that we're already seeing today. So making sure that we have the best outcomes that we can for our network. And then we just submitted to the federal government July 1st. Every 4 years, we have to submit a state plan on aging. And we just submitted that. We had public comment and really laid down what California will be focusing in on the next 4 years. And I mentioned already, but information and assistance is our top priority. We're developing a consumer-facing website and aging resource directory so that wherever somebody is in the state, they can access that information. We're going to separate it out from all of the bureaucratic stuff that's on the California Department of Aging website that consumers don't need to know about, and make it really user-friendly for older adults, people with disabilities, and family caregivers. And then last, there has been, we weren't sure if this would happen, but the Older Americans Act has been introduced in Congress to be reauthorized, and we hope that happens this year before October. We're working under a continuing resolution. All of our funding is secure and stable through October 1st, and so this was very promising when it was introduced in Congress. Bipartisan, yes, most importantly. And then I just want to share, in that spirit of information and assistance, we have several resources that we want you to know about. The first is, I'll take it the way you're seeing it, our Aging Resource Guide. This is available in 7 languages. If you use our QR code, you'll see how you can order online. You can order 1 copy for yourself. You can order 100 for your agency for health fairs. You can order in multiple languages. And then the other is our Emergency Preparedness Guide, also available in 7 languages. And this is really to help older adults, people with disabilities, and family caregivers get ready with their go kits and their stay bags, or their go bags and their stay kits. I always get them confused, but we really want to get the word out. There's no community in California that is exempt from emergency planning and preparedness. Whether it's flooding, wildfires, extreme heat events, it's coming out of the Los Angeles wildfires and the experience there, where we saw, as in all other places, a disproportionate impact on older adults and people with disabilities. So please order this, make it available, share it widely, and I think that concludes. Visit our QR code, and that's a wrap. Thank you for celebrating this milestone.
Thank you, Susan. Is she not the most amazing human ever? We are so fortunate to have her. Matthew wanted the microphone, so I was stealing it before Tracy could get it. That's what this was about.
I just want to say a huge thanks to the AAA. They have done so much for all of us. Can we give them a round of applause? Tracy leads an amazing organization. Many of us would not be here if it was not for the AAA, and that's all.
Well, thank you, Matthew, very much. And Susan, thank you so much for both you and Carrie for coming and joining us, taking the trip from Sacramento. Much appreciated. My name is Tracy Murray, and I'm the Director of Aging and Adult Services for Contra Costa County. And my job today is to introduce our next speaker But before I do, I wanted to make just a couple of comments. In Contra Costa County, in our department, we actually have several divisions that support older adults and dependent adults. And we have adult protective services, in-home support services, general assistance. And I can attest to, we have 192 staff members. I can attest that every single staff member in every single program is deeply committed to serving our seniors and our community. I see that every single day. The AAA, though, I have to say, shares that commitment, but has something special in addition to that. As Susan noted, the AAA is governed by federal statute that within it, not only by statute but by intent, involves community in how we deliver services. And that's really unusual. So for all of our nonprofit partners, our advisory council on aging partners, our volunteers, it really does take a village to provide the services that we do. And I thank you so much for joining in on our efforts. So I'm next going to introduce with pleasure, Christina Mills, who is the Executive Director of the California Association of AAAs. And if you don't mind, I'm going to read because she has such an impressive resume, I just wanted to share it with you. So, Christina is our first ever female Executive Director for C4A. So, congratulations. She has more than 25 years of experience in disability rights and aging services, and she is very much a recognized leader committed to advancing policies that empower older adults and people with disabilities to live independently with the supports that they need to thrive. She has worked very hard to bridge the aging and disability communities, and not on your resume, but one thing that I know as an older adult is one ages into disability. So this is really important that we work together, and I'm thrilled to have her in this role. She's held several key leadership roles statewide and nationally. Her previous positions include serving as the Senior Director of the Inclusive Policy and Advocacy for Elevance Health and as the Executive Director of the California Foundation for Independent Living Centers. She has spearheaded groundbreaking initiatives, including California's first statewide emergency preparedness program funded by a utility company, and she helped launch the Aging and Disability Resource Connections. Her dedication to community-driven solutions, leadership development, and systems change has earned her national recognition as a passionate and effective advocate for equity and inclusion. She's also a prolific TikToker, and as I have said to Christina, I'm not actually stalking you on TikTok. You do keep showing up on my feed, and she is an excellent gardener from what I can tell. So Christina, come join us, and I can't wait to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Tracy. And I have to tell you all, when Tracy told me that she was watching me on TikTok, I thought, well, I didn't say anything I wasn't supposed to, but I don't know if I'm embarrassed or if I'm really excited that one of my members knows me from the inside out now that she's on my TikTok page. Thank you very much for that very welcoming introduction, Tracy. I appreciate it. And I've been in my role for about 6 months now, and it has been an absolute pleasure to be back in nonprofit, to be working on statewide policy, and to be really prioritizing older adults and people with disabilities. That's really where my heart is. If Debbie were up here with me, she would tell you the same thing. I just feel like my place in the world is definitely in advocacy. And one of the things that we say at C4A, our tagline, is building the Aging and Disability Network, or being the Aging and Disability Network. But I'm really about making that truly happen. And like Tracy said, my lifelong goal is really bringing the aging and disability community together. And I'll tell you, it's personal on multiple levels for me. Obviously, I'm a person with a disability, and in this world today, it's so amazing when I come out in the community in person, live, in reality, and people go, whoa, I didn't know you were in a wheelchair, because you can't tell on Zoom, right? There's the pros and cons to all the work we do virtually and all the judgments or the judgments that aren't made because people are seeing me on screen and not just seeing me in person. So it's really amazing to have experienced that, but also to know that while we want to work towards bringing the aging and disability communities together, that also includes elevating that there are people with non-apparent disabilities and people with visible disabilities. And while I'm not 60 yet, like Susan, I am closer to 60 than 30 this year. So somewhere in the middle there. And the other reason why this work is so personal to me is it is a privilege for disabled people to be aging. It is awesome that we are aging and trying to figure out what does life look like for us when we're 80, 90 years old, maybe even 60, maybe 70. It's such a different way of thinking about things. And I was recently in a meeting where somebody else said, I never thought about what it would be like to be an older adult because I was told I was going to die because I was born with my disability. It's such a different way of thinking. And so that was part of my reasoning for wanting to come work for C4A. The second reason, though, is I grew very fond of the area agencies on aging when I was working in the disability side of things. And the association director at that time really educated me on the value of area agencies on aging. And I saw so many reasons why we needed to come together. And one of the reasons was, you know, people with disabilities are not only aging, older adults are likely to become disabled. And Susan shared that by 2030, 1 in 4 people in California will be an older adult, while right now, 1 in 4 people is a person with a disability. Let's think about that for a minute. And there might be people that, you know, don't want to consider part of the aging experience becoming a person with a disability. I get it. But what I didn't realize when I took this job, and I didn't realize, frankly, until a few months ago when we were like, what are we going to do for the Older Americans Act? Not only is it the 60th anniversary of OAA, this month is also the 35th anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. So we have so much to celebrate this month, you guys. And I was going to publish a blog about this because some of you know I love to write, and I've been writing about the intersection of aging and disability since I took this position. My latest blog is talking about the intersections and the complements OAA and the ADA have. It is so amazing. I feel so privileged to be a person with a disability who's going through the aging experience, working in aging, being a caregiver to my grandmother who benefits from OAA services in Marin County on so many levels. Like everyone in Marin County knows who my grandma is, and I am thankful for that because she gets all the services that she needs, because without them, I don't know what my grandma would be. Frankly, I don't know if she'd be alive. So I am incredibly thankful for OAA services, but I'm also incredibly thankful that as we kind of grow and do this work together, we're going to figure out not only how do we continue to thrive and grow our OAA services, how are we going to make them accessible for people that are either aging with a disability or folks that are aging into disability. How do we bring that together? And in my membership, you know, one of the things we're talking about is how do we make our materials more accessible? I could invite my members who have been very focused and very passionate about aging services to the California ADA conference to learn about how to make your programs and materials accessible in a variety of ways. What does it take to book an ASL interpreter? What does it mean to have captioning available? What do you mean have large print available so that people who wear glasses or are low vision need it? All these different things that we don't necessarily talk about in aging, but if we did, we'd certainly be serving a lot more people, and we're going to do together because as we grow in age, we want to make sure we're as inclusive as possible for our older adults and people with disabilities. I am so excited to be in Contra Costa County also because I live right over the bridge in Benicia. So whenever I get invited to come out and do something public, it's exciting for me to meet the folks like you that are really doing the work. And Susan touched on all of the great things that California is doing right now. I'm gonna not be doom and gloom, but C4A is, a membership association that's also focused on advocacy. And we've seen some ups and downs this year, and we are not at the finish line by any means. Susan just shared that we have a continuing resolution to get us to October 1st. That means there's a ton of advocacy to be done between now and October 1st. And I'm headed to DC on Sunday to do some more advocacy. And in California, we're very fortunate. We're in a very different place, but our advocacy cannot be dependent on our great senators who continue to support our services and needs. We need to continuously remind them. So one of the things that I've done is started collecting success stories from my members and also using the success stories that CDA collects. And I send them on a regular basis to not only our senators, but our House of Representatives as well, to let them know, don't forget, this is what area agencies on aging are doing out in California. When anybody else in any of the other states ask, you can say that their states could be doing this too, but this is what we're doing in California. Those reminders are going to be key to ensuring that not only the OAA gets reauthorized, and I am so incredibly grateful that that happened just 2 weeks ago, the introduction of the bill again, but that when the budget is pushed out and we see what happens in the next federal fiscal year, that we maintain the level of services that we have, but we also fight like hell to advocate for more. Because 1 in 4 people, guys, there's a lot of work to be done in California and around the country to make sure that our folks get what they need. That's the bottom line. So I will just wrap up by saying that next year, I want us to come together and celebrate that we made it and that we're continuing to go and we fought like hell for our people. So lead on.
Glenda, can I take a moment and ask all of our staff to stand up so we can acknowledge them? So I'll start with Glenda. Thank you so much. So we have AAA staff here, APS staff, IHSS staff. Thank you all. Okay, thank you.
I was going to just step up here, but I would have landed on my bum, right? We would have had it on film. It would have been great. My name is Glenda Paha. I'm with the Area Agency on Aging. Some of you know I am the daughter of 2 seniors, one who's 91, living alone in Rossmore, and just has his driver's license taken away. And the other one is 84, living in a board and care facility, has been there for 4 years. Is doing really well, but she has dementia, and it's really, really hard. So I know this very well, and I got to tell you, I am so happy to work for the Area Agency on Aging. Not only do I have great coworkers, but I have the pleasure of working with so many community agencies and OAA-funded agencies, and I want you to meet some of them today. Every day, these agencies provide caring and compassionate services to Contra Costa seniors, families, and their caregivers. I'm so proud to work in partnership with them. Right here in the purple, as always, is the Alzheimer's Association. They provide caregiver counseling, training, information, and support, as you know, on a national level, but they do a lot of work with us here. Coming down 2, 3, 4 tables, Choice in Aging. Choice in Aging is OAA funded to do adult daycare, caregiver training, and support. A few down from there, Contra Costa Senior Legal Services. Legal assistance to protect the rights of seniors, housing, scams, and prevention from abuse. Next, we have Empowered Aging. As you know, long-term care ombudsman services in residential facilities, they ensure quality care and keep residents safe from abuse and neglect. Family caregivers. Christina Irving over there. Family Caregiver Alliance provides caregiver support services, support group, respite, case management. They have a wonderful 800 number that I have given to people out of state because they're a wonderful network of caregiver services. So you know at Thanksgiving when people ask what you do and how you can refer, there you go. Mobility Matters, David. Mobility Matters, I don't know if you know, they provide transportation, but most importantly, assisted transportation. And the difference between that is that the driver will go into the person's home to pick them up, help them into the car, drive them to the doctor's office, take them through the doctor's office door, down the hall, to the right, and down by the bathrooms in the back. They take them all the way there. They take them and they wait while the appointment happens, and they reverse the process and bring them home. So it's not Uber, it's more than Uber and better. Meals on Wheels, Diablo Region. I have to take a big breath to say all the things that they do, because as they tell me, it's more than a meal. Telephone reassurance, friendly visiting, caregiver services, which is assisted technology and home modifications, on the move, and a matter of balance classes. They do a lot. Antoinette at Pacific Clinics. Antoinette and her staff, including a lovely woman named Glenda, provide kinship services. Kinship services are for grandparents, usually grandparents and their grandchildren. So you can imagine, particularly through COVID, how difficult it was to have your grandchildren in your house all the time, not going to school. They hung in there and they supported them. And a new friend to us, Yendi, at West Contra Costa Meals on Wheels. Delivering food to seniors in their home. They're probably not as well known as some of our other Meals on Wheels, but they are little and mighty. Thank you. Let's give them all a round of applause, even though you've already done that. And now I get to turn the mic over to Jill Kleiner. She is the immediate past president of the Advisory Council on Aging.
Thank you, Glenda. So before I start, I need to take a picture because this view from up here, it's amazing. So hold on. Everyone smile. I might need to do it two sides. Okay, there, this side. Smile, big. Okay. Thank you. So I'm here to talk about some other organizations so that we can give resounding cheer to not one, not two, but 3 other types of organizations that make older adults' lives brighter. These include the Advisory Council on Aging, senior commissions, and our fabulous senior centers. Did you know that the Older Americans Act requires that the area agencies on aging have an advisory council? Enter the Contra Costa County Advisory Council on Aging. This group, there they are. Look, there's a bunch of us. And in a few minutes, you'll see them all standing up. But This group consists of 39 individuals from all over Contra Costa County that work tirelessly to advocate for older adults. In addition, many of the cities and towns throughout Contra Costa County have established senior commissions that work also to identify needs for older adults and to create new needs that service older adults. And many of those people on those senior commissions double their volunteer by being part of the Advisory Council on Aging and bring their superpowers to us to give us more ideas and things to implement. So we are fortunate to have them. And then imagine a place filled with laughter, where friendships are made and something new happens every day. These are our local senior centers, and we are so lucky to have them. They do so many wonderful activities for seniors, recreational activities, educational adventures, as well as wonderful meals that people get. And they really bring a sense of community. So I'm here to have us all thank these people. This is your moment to shine, and if I could please have members of the Advisory Council on Aging stand up, as well as anyone on senior commissions, and anyone involved with the senior center. Yes, please give them. There's more. See, everyone's so, a lot of wonderful volunteers. And thank you for letting me take your picture. It'll probably be up on here when we hit the 70th year. And now I'd like to introduce Susanna Myers from Empowered Aging. You've heard that name a few times today. Wonderful person.
Hi, everyone. I have a few tasks today, but I am going to start with asking again, if you are elected or if you hold a position of supporting an elected official, can you please stand? We've had a few other people join us since we brought that up the first time. Thank you. Thank you so much. So we're going to do a few different things today. One of the things we're going to do is to look at a video that a lot of our legislators put together. We asked for some clips. We did not catch everyone. We caught as many as we could in a short period of time with a small budget, because that's what nonprofits do. So do we have the video ready to go? Yes, we do. I'm going to start with that before we get into some further notes.
It is so important for us to provide services for our largest growing demographic in our country, and that's our seniors, our grandparents.
For 60 years, this landmark legislation has provided a broad range of community-based services.
The Older Americans Act ensures that people who cared for us are supported, protected, and treated with the dignity they deserve.
That as we age and we grow older, we can do it with security.
Protecting their dignity, their safety, and acknowledging the tremendous work and sacrifice they gave throughout their lives to make our community what it is today.
These individuals are our friends, our family members, and our community members. And we want to make sure they feel safe and be treated with every bit of dignity and respect.
There's so many great organizations, and a lot of this was made possible by the Older Americans Act.
Agencies who work to support and uplift the quality of life, access to health care, and all of the services that we provide to our senior population.
And protect them from people that want to hurt them, but also that are working to give our elders dignity and joy and things to look forward to.
From home-delivered congregant meals to transportation, caregiver support, and chronic disease prevention.
These programs are essential to making sure our seniors can age with dignity and independence.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Older Americans Act.
Happy birthday, OAA.
Happy birthday, Older Americans Act. Thank you for 60 years of empowering older adults and supporting caregivers across the country.
So as I mentioned, we didn't get everyone we wanted. We sure got a good participation, but there was a lot going into this. And so we would still like to reach out to a few people who didn't get in there and get them in there. Okay, so the next thing we are going to do, because I've got a list today, is invite Contra Costa County Supervisor Ken Carlson up to present a proclamation and say a few words.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here and inviting me to be here with you. Clearly, through the video you saw, each one of those supervisors are actually very dedicated to our senior population. So on behalf of the Board of Supervisors, I do want to present recognition resolution of the Older Americans Act. But I want to share some thoughts, most importantly. So let me just present that. Who wants to take a picture? Oh, Debbie does. We're going to move over.
We're going to move.
Despite this youthful appearance, I'm eligible. I know, that's hard to believe. Now, I'll just share a little bit. We've talked about all the services we provide, the reasons we provide them, and coming from a law enforcement background, the work you do as well in protecting and reporting and educating our seniors on things like abuse, seeing neglect, seeing physical abuse and or fiduciary abuse. I, as a law enforcement officer, saw that, and it was crushing to see seniors experiencing those types of things. When I was on the campaign trail, my dad was 92 and declining, and so while I'm campaigning to try and be here as a supervisor, I was making routine trips on a Friday night to get to Salt Lake City to be with Dad and take some of the burden off my parents or my siblings in caring for him in his last few months. But there were also another resource to him, and this is something I learned as well in engaging with my dad. He was very close-lipped about many things, but when you sat down and you pulled out all the photographs, we knew the end was near, so we're going to pull out all the family photographs. And we went back to the 1920s. He could remember addresses where he lived as a youth or as a kid. He told me the story of how I got my name. Never heard that, never knew why. And then in college, I had the privilege of my great-grandparents being around and hearing stories about immigrating to the United States from Switzerland in the late 1800s, their first taste of ice cream, all these different things. They're a resource to know our history so much better. And so those are the things we need to be taking advantage of as well as preserving their quality of life so we can even learn more. So again, there's just so much. I'm so proud of the work all of you do in caring for our senior population. So thank you. I didn't mean to talk so much.
Thank you, Supervisor. We also have several representatives here for state office, legislators, assembly members, and senators, and they are also going to present us with a resolution, a joint resolution. So if you hold office working in support of a state legislator, please come up.
Hi, everyone. My name is Wendy, and I'm Wendy Fabian, and I'm one of the field representatives for Assemblymember Lori Wilson, and I am honored to join you all today. So it is a true honor to join you today to recognize a significant milestone, the 60th anniversary of the Older Americans Act. The impact of the OAA is both deeply felt and powerfully amplified by the tireless work of our dedicated community organizations and agencies. These organizations go above and beyond to deliver critical and comprehensive services and programs to seniors and aging populations. Whether it's through nutrition and health promotion, access to transportation, elder abuse prevention, caregiver support, legal advocacy, efforts to end ageism, and so much more, they're all equally instrumental in promoting the overall well-being and independence for our aging population. And I'll go ahead and hand it over to you.
How's it going, everybody? Are you guys ready to celebrate the 60th birthday of the Older Americans Act? All right. I'm Emiliano Rosas, and I have the pleasure of serving as a district representative for Senator Cabaldon. This resolution not only honors the legacy of the Older Americans. Oh, I'm already missing my place. In recognition of this historic anniversary, we are proud to share that the California State Legislature has adopted a formal resolution commemorating the 60th anniversary of the Older Americans Act. This resolution not only honors the legacy of the OAA, but also reaffirms our commitment to the programs and partnerships that empower our older Californians. As we reflect on the progress of the past 6 decades, may we also renew our promise to continue fighting for a future where all older adults are valued, protected, and supported in the communities they call home. So on behalf of the Honorable Assemblymember Avila Ferreras, Assemblymember Lori D. Wilson, Assembly Majority Leader Aguilar Curry, and Senators Christopher Cabaldon and Timothy Grayson, I would like to introduce the District Director for Assemblymember Avila Ferreras to present the resolution.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Patanisha Davis Pearson, and I'm the District Director for Assemblymember Avila Farias, Anna Maria Avila Farias. And I'm going to read the resolution to you all today. By the Honorable Anna Maria Avila Farias, District 15, Lori D. Wilson, Assembly District 11, the Honorable Cecilia M. Aguilar Curry, the 4th Assembly District, the Honorable Christopher Cabaldon, the 3rd Senatorial District, and the Honorable Tim S. Grayson, the 9th Senatorial District, relative to the Older American Acts, whereas the year 2025 marks the 60th anniversary of the Older American Act, OAA, and it is appropriate at this time to underscore the positive impact it has made for seniors across the state of California and the nation. And whereas signed into federal law on July 14, 1965, the OAA is a landmark piece of legislation that established a national framework for the delivery of comprehensive services to older adults and created a response and concern about a lack of community-based social services for older persons. It has helped millions of Americans age with dignity, safety, and independence. And whereas, having established the Administration on Aging within the United States Department of Health, Education, and Welfare, the OAA laid the foundation for a national network of area agencies on aging, state units on aging, and service providers that offer essential programs, including nutrition services, caregiver support, transportation, elder abuse prevention, and healthy promotion. And the OAA has played an instrumental role in helping older adults avoid premature institutionalization, remaining in their homes and communities, and maintaining a high quality of life. And whereas California is a home to more than 8.5 million adults aged 60 and older, one of the highest older adult populations in the country. And as this number is projected to increase significantly in the coming decades, the State Master Plan for Aging prioritizes equity, health, healthy aging, community-based living, and economic security for all older Californians, and is in alignment with the principles of the OAA. And whereas, in partnership with the California Department of Aging and a robust network of local agencies, the OAA continues to serve hundreds of thousands of Californians each and every year with vital programs that promote independence, well-being, and well over the past 6 decades. It has made an invaluable impact on seniors across the nation. Now, therefore, be it resolved by Assembly members Anna Maria Avila Farias, Lori D. Wilson, Cecilia M. Aguilar Curry, Senator Christopher Cabaldon, and Tim S. Grayson that they honor the Older Americans Act on this 60th anniversary and recognize its enduring value to improve the lives of older adults in California and the state of California, dated this 14th day of July 2025. Thank you.
So I have this premonition that all of us nonprofit partners who helped plan this event are going to mud wrestle for this thing. We'll be selling tickets. It's a fundraiser right outside the door. We also have the county resolution that we have to fight over, so be prepared. Debbie, I'm coming for you. Thank you so much, all of you. This is, I have to say personally, I used to work for a senator. I'm currently an elected official myself, but I'm so impressed by this working together and just honoring the work that's being done and all of you coming forward and speaking and just expressing your members' support of this work. It really means a lot to us. It's kind of challenging times. We're very used to advocating and coming to you and talking to you about the issues that we're facing, and you're all very responsive. And we really appreciate it, especially now, knowing that we have your support, knowing that you hear our voices on behalf of the people that don't have a voice themselves. It means everything to us. So thank you so much for being here and for the joint resolution as well. Thank you. We're actually not quite done. Okay, we're not quite done. We have a few things left, and one of them is to, again, address the poster papers that are scattered around the room and the markers that are in front of them. If you have not yet taken the time to write a note on a piece of poster paper, there's one over here, there's one over here in the corner, one over by this exit door here, there's a couple there, one on the door there. I think we've got 6, if that's right. Markers are in front of the poster paper. It really will help us a lot if you can make some sort of comment about what it means to support older adults and why it's necessary for us to continue this work. We are very definitely joining together in advocacy as we move forward, and so your quotes coming directly from you, this is really going to help us to do that. So with that in mind, I'm going to read. Someone's been walking around and collecting. Jill, thank you, wherever you are. Okay, the question was, what was the question, Jill? Where are you? Oh, it's in the text too. Okay, the question, what do you want people to know about why it's important to support older adults? So we've got a good amount of answers. We need some more. Because we're all aging, to ensure their safety and longevity. We're all in it together. Hope we get more. Because we all deserve to age with dignity, and sometimes we need extra support. We will all be older adults if we aren't already. Sharing knowledge and learnings help us to thrive as a community. So if you haven't yet made a comment, please make sure you do that. I'm going to ask a question. We already know that Director DeMorris, who is leaving, was born in 1965. So because she's leaving, she's not going to qualify for this little contest, unless you want to stay 5 more minutes, up to you. It's okay, you can leave. Can you please stand if you were born in the year of 1965? Okay. Okay. If you were born in the first half, no, stay standing, sorry. I should have said that. If you were born in the first half of 1965, please sit down. And what month were you born? May. Okay, so actually, May would be the closest to July? Who else? April? Who am I missing? So it's you, right? 2 months away? Okay, so you get the special designation of being able to blow out a candle on a cupcake. We are all going to sing to you. Vice Mayor Tanisha Pearson, would you like to join me in leading this happy birthday song? You're all going to join us. It's not just going to be us two. But it can be just that. She's a singer. So is Vice Mayor Pearson. So we don't have the candle lit yet. Do we have matches for this? Because I thought that was on the list. If not, then she gets a picture. Okay. She gets a picture with you. Pick the cupcake you want, and the candle is over here on the table somewhere. Or at least it was earlier. Does anybody see the candle? It was right here, actually. Okay, we're going to pretend to blow, but you still get to pick the cupcake of your dreams. And you can... Okay. This is pretty much the close of our program today. We did allow for some extra time for you all to just visit with each other, get lunch if you haven't done that yet, learn a little bit more about the resources that are available to Contra Costa County seniors. So please don't immediately leave. Please take some time and really learn about the importance of this day, the importance of this work, the importance of this event. So it means a lot for us to have you here. So we appreciate that you're taking the time to educate yourselves as well. Oh, there's the candle. Good. But you have to hold the cupcake up to your face so that we're not going to have blowing on all of the cupcakes in a post-COVID era. What was your name? Yvonne. Thank you. So we're going to say Yvonne and Older Americans Act, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Yvonne, and the Older Americans Act. OA. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Yvonne. For everyone else, thank you so much for coming. This has been a really meaningful time for us to have this time with you. And it has been a lot of roller coasters lately, across the nation, across everything. It's just been a lot. So gathering together and feeling this kind of positive love for each other and for the people that we all serve, it just means everything to us. So thank you so much again for coming.